What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shay G, and it's going to be a great show. Welcome to the Comics Couch. Comics Couch is when I interview some of my friends around the comedian world, just about everything, how they got to where they are, what they're doing now, and also talking about current events. So today, I have two of my favorite I like to say seasoned comics, because they've been around a long time along with me. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise right now for Michael Prince and my boy Piper the Comedian. Everybody. That's it. Now, Mr. Fellas. What's going on, Piper? How you feel, brother?
Yeah, man, everything good, man. I'm good sitting on this couch, man,
Yeah.
sunk in, but hey, man, I'm all right, man. How about yourself, bro?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. Thank you for coming to sit on the Comics Couch. That's a real Comics Couch.
That's a nice couch.
I need gas money, man.
That's gas money. That's good. Michael Prince, what up, baby?
What's going on, man? Everything's good. We are in here in the funeral home couch, rolling through. You got to put your feet up. Your feet don't touch the ground in a couch. It's a set to you. It's a set to you in a couch.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is something we like doing, and it's just so much stuff. Now, man, I've been having people teaming up with comics. That's how I want to do it. And the reason why I have y'all two teamed up, because y'all known each other a long time, and I met y'all at different times.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna start with you, Mike Prince. You remember how I met you?
I remember we was in either it was Colorado, wasn't it?
Denver, Colorado.
In Colorado, okay.
Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
I brought you in.
Yep.
That's when you was Sir Nose Productions.
Yes,
remember that?
Big Nose.
Big nose. Yeah, I remember Big Nose.
I have a small nose now, but I had surgery, and then it went back big again.
Big Nose. That's wow. I forgot.
Yeah,
Man,
so I remember
crazy.
I met him, and big shout out to Queen Aisha.
That's
When I
my
brought
girl,
her down,
man. Yep.
she ripped the club, man.
Yep.
When I tell you, she ripped it up. And then she said, man, you got to bring this guy by the name of Michael Prince. Is my boy. You
Right,
came
that's
down
your
there
big
and you
sister,
killed.
man.
You know that was
Thank
down
you.
there 20 years ago.
Man, that's crazy, ain't it?
That is
And
crazy.
we still look like we in our 20. We still look like we. Yep, sure do.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the best thing.
Thank
so,
you, man.
Man, tell me about your journey dealing with comedy.
Man, I started doing comedy like 97, 98, and been doing it ever since, man. I just don't do it as much as I used to. Started out with Bruce down in Atlanta with 559, and him and Earthquake took a couple of us under our wing, me, Rod, man, and some of the other guys that was in the Atlanta area, man. We just did what they told us to do and went to the clubs they told us to go to, and, we featured, and all of a sudden we started getting on our own and started out doing big clubs and ended up on Comic View, I think is what it was. Mm-hmm. And we ended up on Comic View, man, and it was amazing, bro, just to be able to be on Comic View for one thing. And then when I was in the trailer, my little production trailer, I thought I was really somebody then. You
Right.
give your production trailer, put a little star, a little Sunday school star on your trailer.
And they say, Mike.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, man, thought I was doing something and then see myself for the first time on television, man. And the rest is history. The worst part about that was I didn't realize how big comedy was, man. I didn't know it was. I thought it was probably 10 of me, but then when I figured out it was 100 of me, and then I started to think, okay, it's 100 of me, and they ain't taking but 2 of the 100,
right,
to make them big names, So I said, okay, I got to start doing some math. So I kept doing my comedy, and it's been doing it ever since. But I just backed up a little bit and kind of reinvented myself. But other than that, man, comedy has been nothing but a blessing to me, brother.
Now, see, we're going to talk about that, and that's one thing I want to talk about. But
we'll come back to it.
Now we about to go to Piper.
I know
Piper the comedian.
My dog.
When did we?
That's Piper the comedian.
When we met, but it was
when did we meet, Piper?
at the cabin. I had heard about you, and I just had never met you. Through other comics.
Right.
Shout out to Q and
DLS.
your homeboy. And I heard you in Minnesota, actually. You hadn't moved here yet.
Oh, wow.
And DLS had posted that he was going to Minnesota.
Right.
I was like, Minnesota? And he was posting about the Prince and
over
at the what they call it,
Paisley Park.
He was posing, and he had told me, said, "Man, I'm gonna hook you up with my boy Shed."
Right.
Of course, I never heard about what he never called me back. But,
right.
So we ended up meeting by default.
By default. In the house.
At the cabins, and we did a couple things with Spin. And
and let me tell y'all. Wait, Mike. Let me tell you. So I happened to go up there because I didn't want to be the third. I didn't want to be the third wheel. Right.
Okay.
Like everybody was coupled up, wives. I was the only one single. So I went up there. So I asked this girl. I said, "Hey, why don't you go up there with me?" We was cool. We was cool. There was nothing. I want you to go up there with me because I'm gonna be the third wheel. We
Okay.
got the bunk bedroom. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing gonna jump off.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing gonna jump off,
it was a
man.
nice cabin, though. It was a nice cabin, man.
The first night, I didn't know nothing. So the couples was in the text.
Okay.
I didn't know nothing.
Okay.
First night, they was like, yeah, y'all cooking together. I'm
Because
like,
every night, everybody
everybody
gonna cook something for a couple cook breakfast.
Okay,
then they cook
okay,
dinner.
right.
Okay.
But we picked the night who was gonna cook what, whatever.
Man, just make a long story short, that was the most worst meal ever.
What y'all cook some cereal? What y'all cook some cereal?
They talked about my steak because I was worried about her.
Man, the steak looked like lump coal. You know how lump coal look? I said, what is that? Man, it's a steak. I said, no, you gotta flatten that out a little bit.
They talk so bad about
Look like you want to throw it at
Yeah,
somebody.
I ain't just mad at him. I said, I don't think me and him gonna be able to get along. Because I think his vision is off. You talking about this is a steak? I said,
that wasn't the part.
No, we didn't really get him for that.
No, they didn't get me because she said I'm gonna make spaghetti.
Oh, I said,
Man, that spaghetti was horrible.
Horrible.
Mess up spaghetti, bro.
Horrible.
It was worse than ramen.
It was terrible.
Wait, but this how I knew. This how I knew I messed with Piper. Mike, this how I knew I messed with Piper. Because Piper said T. Ellis is messy.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
D,
D. Ellis,
and D gonna be D. D was messy.
Oh, yeah.
D looked at Piper and said, "Hey, Piper, how was it?"
And that, mind you, it's a table full of people. Everybody was eating, but wasn't nobody saying nothing. You know how you eat, wasn't nobody saying nothing.
Put a lot of
Just
hot
kinda
sauce on it.
looking
Just stick the
around.
hot sauce on it.
People looking around.
My Piper said, "Ooh, that was good and terrible."
So I got out to that was terrible. Everybody just started laughing. I guess I was the only honest one.
Right.
Nobody really wanted to say
I'd have
nothing.
died.
I had to be the spokesperson.
Look,
it was funny.
Don't you bring her back. How you have
That's what.
spaghetti-less spaghetti?
There you go.
I don't know.
Spaghetti, spaghetti. All right, so we done with that. Now, Piper, tell us about your journey.
Well,
in
my
comedy.
journey, man. Thank you for having me here.
All right.
And I appreciate you on this lean back couch. But this, that's the song, lean back.
that's it, bro.
But my journey, man, started in actually 95, 96. You know? And I got blessed and got lucky enough to get on stage with Bernie Mac. My first time on stage.
Oh,
Never
wow.
had no material. I just got lucky. I met the promoter the night before.
That's what's up.
And Bernie Mac was coming to town. That's when I Ain't Scared of You tour was out. He had just done Def Jam, so he had just got hot. So he went on his own tour, and he was coming to the city. I was stationed in Pensacola, Florida. And at the time, I had tickets to go to the show because I was a fan of comedy. I just never, I always thought I was funny. Got in the military, man, you ought to be a comedian, man, whatever. So that particular night, man, I met the promoter the night before. He was passing out flyers. And back then, you got feet on the ground. That's when they put the flyers on
Yeah. I
I
miss that.
windshield wiper.
Yeah, street team then,
Street
bro.
team, right.
Yeah.
He out in the club and he was putting, flyers underneath windshields and I seen him, put one on mine. I grabbed it and some kind of way, me and this guy just got to talking, find out he was an actual promoter, had just flew in from New York. He was trying out that market. And man, the rest is history, man. I made the dude laugh and he was like, man, you want to open up, I said, I ain't got no problem. He said, I ain't got no money. I said, I'm all right with that. Of course, I ain't know what to charge him anyway. So
Right.
I said, okay. And got on the stage. I was so nervous, man. And the lady came back there. She was a host, but she was a radio personality. And she was like, so, asking you questions in the green room. She said, so, what you been on? So she trying to write, like your resume down.
Put your pencil down.
Right,
You ain't got, put your pencil
she
down.
asked me and I was lost. She said, what you been on? I said, what I been on? I don't know.
Is that the military on base?
I've been sitting down for the last. I said, right, but I don't know what I've been on. So she was like, so it's your first time? And I was just telling her. I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, okay. Well, I just introduce you as what? I say, Piper, that's my name. She said, okay. Right. And man, when I went out there, man, all the nervousness went away.
That's how it usually is, bro.
So Bernie wasn't there yet. He didn't come in like to the end of my set. So man, I got up the stage, standing ovation. I was like, wow. Now I think I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
Now I am the bomb.com.
Made it, bro.
This is all it is? Now, mind you, it's maybe 3,000 people.
Yeah.
My first time on stage in front of that many people. And now I'm thinking,
You done made it, boy. You done made it.
So I got my manager. And
You got a
I'm setting up tour dates at a theater near you.
You said a manager.
I had got immediately after the show. I'm signing. You know,
immediately before you got to your car,
he
you had
knocked
a
on the
manager.
door. Hey man, let me in. I need to know people. I had to pick a manager. I ain't know any minute mind. Okay, come on man. I guess you. So people knocked down the door trying to manage me because they saw what they saw. You know, they saw the real talent. And so he set me up with another show locally. Mm-hmm. So then that second show didn't go. First off, it wasn't that many people there.
That's what it was.
There wasn't that many people. That was the excuse. That was the energy. It was them. They weren't ready to laugh. They weren't ready. They was tripping. They hadn't had no sleep. They hadn't ate.
Right.
You know, the club was small. They wasn't serving no drinks. It just wasn't a good.
So
I had bombed. I didn't really bomb.
So you left a package up there.
I had a suspicion.
You left a nice package up there.
I'm telling you,
residue.
They brought the dogs in, bro.
I was on a no-fly list, but I did not bomb.
They brought the dogs in.
The dogs didn't come in there. They sniffing around the door. Said, "Don't go in there." They sitting
You
the
left
robot
residue
there.
on the
You know that
stage.
robot that's sitting there.
They just pointed at it.
You know that little robot that's sitting there. They don't want to go in there.
So the dog just pointed. Yeah,
I seen that robot go across the stage. I said, "What is that?" Just keep talking.
just keep talking. So
But
now,
anyway, so that's where I started, man. Just to do it.
so did you keep your job? You know, looking at the camera. So did you keep your job? Like that's the thing I'm gonna get into.
Right.
Did you keep your job? Because like old school, like what I was taught, I'm gonna tell you about me. What happened to me?
What was the wrong talk?
Right. Well, I had, first of all, a big shout out to my boy Mike Bonner.
Bruh.
OG in the game.
The OG.
Man, you know what I'm saying? Legendary.
Man,
I brought him down. I brought him down, right? I brought him down. Matter of fact, a couple of months after I brought you to Denver.
Right.
And so he was like, yeah, man, you funny, man. And I was like, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? He's like, man, so I'm asking questions, just like I was asking y'all. Yeah. I was like, so what I need to do? Well, I'm trying to go to another level. Because at that time, we thought Comic View was the best thing since slice.
That's what it was.
You got on Comic View, you made it as an urban comic.
Yep.
He's like, oh, man, that's cool. He said, man, shit. Be honest with you gotta quit your job and move to Atlanta. Atlanta's where it's at. He told, quit your job, move to Atlanta. Now, mind you, I was like training and developing like dang near manager. I was opening up call centers all over the world, doing so much stuff. God. And guess what I did? Put in my notice because Mike Bonner said, put your notice in. You gotta go to Atlanta.
Mike Bonner, no, brother.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a good story. That's a good segue into the story because when I started, I did not to cut you off, I'm sorry. But when I started, I did not see enough for me to give up my job. No matter what nobody said. Nothing was giving me health care. Nothing was giving me pay automatically even though I was going to work. I didn't have to hustle. I just need to get up and go to work. So I had to put those three things together. Those three things is what. And when I went out on the road, as much as I was on the road, I was taking, you know how you take a day off work? I was taking hours because I had to watch everything I was doing. Right. Hey, look, I got a 4:00 flight. Let me leave work at 1. I'm taking 3 hours. So all of my time that I was taking off for comedy, it was hours. It was never days. It was days after those hours because I take off on a Friday to get there, Friday morning. But brother, when I started to see sickness in comedy, and I'll tell a lot of people this story. When I started to see some of the people I looked up to that was doing comedy, big time names, but didn't have no health care. I seen people at the airport, in the limousine, throwing up, doing things with medicine that you wouldn't even think a person would do in the limo just to make it to the show because they didn't have health care. And I was like, man, I'm not finna quit my good job, not good ass job. I thought, look, and this is not. I was in a limit. This is no lies, true story. I'm gonna leave out the comic's name. It was me. I say my man Bruce. It was me, Bruce. It was Tony. 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 No, he's up out of Kansas City. Tony. It was me, Tony, Kenny Howell, and it was one more comic, and I won't say his name. He was in the car, and we kept, hey, man, are you okay? Man, I think I need to go to the doctor, but I can't afford it. He said, man, if y'all are willing, I need to go to the doctor while I'm here. Man, when he came back and told us what his doctor bill was, and he didn't have no health care, I never thought a second about quitting my job after that. whole incident.
I didn't hear those stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then plus where I was in Denver. I was making nice money, but I'm still performing locally.
Yep.
So for me, I didn't see none of that. I just saw my money, and when y'all come in, I was like, wow, because I always treated y'all superstars. You know what I mean? That's always how I've been. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. What made me want to ask this question is because when I was with Piper. And Piper went golf with me one time.
When he was walking?
Yeah, we was walking.
Yes.
Yeah, we was walking. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he was talking about his retirement. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm looking up like, yo, that's dope. Mm-hmm. Like, man, if I'd have stayed out of there. So I asked him the question, and I'm answering for you, but you know, I asked him the question. I said, so why didn't you stop doing comedy? He said, Michael Prince.
Damn.
I said, what? I said, so he kept his job, military, all that stuff. And now I'm sitting here walking with him envious because he's getting a check. You know what I mean? I'm two checks. How many checks?
Two more. Yeah, two more. I'm waiting on one more. But it's two.
Okay.
Right. He's getting a check.
And you chilling.
Right. He's getting a check. And I think back, and I told him, he was like, so what did you do? And I told him everything. Man, I would have owned homes. I would have did all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But the one thing that I really appreciate what Piper told me, he's like, but you got to understand, you can't get mad at Mike because Mike made your career what it is now.
Yep.
Just that advice.
You got to take that silver lining.
So your destination. Yep. But what I say, when I see him,
it's on site.
On site. Beat him.
On site.
I was like, man, I was making good money. I was like, man, you didn't tell me I could have worked and traveled.
Man, look,
you know what I mean? So it was just one of those situations.
Because Mike, man, I've been knowing Mike so long. Mike used to book me. And I remember meeting him at the Improv.
Yep.
Nana Lee. Shout out Nana Lee was doing Fat Tuesdays, man. Yep. And that used to be the hottest comedy show, man, in the Metroplex.
I heard they used to come from Dallas.
They came everywhere, man. They come from Houston, LA. People came all over just to be on her show, man. Yeah. And that's when I met Mike. Yep. And Mike took a liking to me. He was cool, and Mike was betting the game. Yep. Mind you, I stopped doing comedy for a while. But when I moved back here,
was it because of your agent and your show?
But my agent, I had to fire my manager. Man, he wanted to give me right. My manager wasn't doing his job, so I said, I need to take a break. Touring was getting old. Hotel to hotel, that kind of like just got overwhelming.
Took money from you, didn't it?
All of that, yeah. It took his 10%. And that just got kind of overwhelming for me. Just on the road, just kind of complex. So I just kind of like stepped away for a little while, and I think I would say it was geographical because I was living in Kentucky, so it wasn't like a whole bunch of rooms I could work. So I just kind of quit for maybe about 3 years. Okay. So when I moved here, this is, of course, Dallas is a big
Mecca right here, bro.
Yeah,
comedy
Mecca.
What?
10 comedy clubs?
Line, bro.
Maybe more, but anyway. So when I got here, I was hearing about open mics and stuff like that on the radio. I said, I'm gonna start back. That's when I met Junebug. Shout out to Junebug, Joel Ronalds, and he said, man, you ought to come to the Improv. I said, what's the Improv? Not mine. I ain't even heard no damn Improv. And he put me up, and the night was Nana Lee, and it was packed. Her night used to be sold out every other Tuesday. And that's when I met Mike, and I started, getting back into the swing of things. And Mike, man, booked me. Mike, man, we went all over D.C. We'd been in San Antonio. Mike just, like my brother, man, my big brother. Yep. It took me under his wing and taught me the game, the business side of it. And me and Mike would have a conversation. Me and Mike used to talk on the phone. And I had called Mike, man. I was like, man, I'm thinking about, man, because now I'm getting hot. Now I'm getting back in. I'm thinking about getting my manager back on board. Yeah. And touring dates and stuff started popping back up. And so things.
You said what? Tour dates?
Touring dates.
He's setting up a tour for you.
Yeah. TOR. Yeah. Tour. Yeah. And everything started, coming back together. And then they were talking about me on the radio. She said, y'all gotta see this guy Piper, man. He is. She was just blowing me up, and I'm sitting there. So I called Mike. I don't know what made me just blurt it out and say, man, I'm thinking about, man, quitting my job. I said, hey, what? You say what? What? Man, don't you quit your damn good government job?
The hell you are.
Man, you a damn fool. So I thought about it for maybe 5-10 minutes. So after all that had wore off, I just came back to my senses. Right. And Mike was like, bro, man, you got a good, and at the time, I had a great job. My job was great, worked for the government for the last, I think I was on my job maybe 10 years. But hey, shout out to my job. Love y'all. Appreciate you. Retired 22, so life is good. But this guy right here, my mentor, man, he was one that I was veering off. I needed alignment. He got me right back on track and said,
and that's the thing, to have those
nowhere.
Accountability partners in the game, to help you, go to that H&L, that whole nother level.
That's it, man.
Yes.
And that's it. That's something I really never had. Well, I had my boy AD in Denver, but it wasn't like we would just do shows together. Like we never really hung out and just kicked it and just did stuff, just other stuff like that. But I think that was because of me. I'm an introvert. I'm a loner. Because I've always been that way. Even though I'm, basketball team, like I'm cool with everybody. But at the end of the day, I don't like really but that was me. Now let's get to we're almost done. I want to do some other stuff for the second half. I got some more, but this is what I want to talk about before we talk about some current event stuff. Do you remember? Well, we already heard about the time you bombed.
Right. But early in my career,
I wanna know. Do y'all remember when y'all bombed like as a seasoned comic? Have you ever bombed as a seasoned comic?
Let me say this, and I'm gonna go first. Cause mine a little different. I was actually in Chicago. I was at a show. Probably 5,000 people was at the show, and I was actually going through a divorce. No lie. And my family was everything to me, because everything I was trying to do, and I hope we come back to that part too of what not to do in comedy, because a lot of things happen in comedy. Shout out to Lane, the Jewish guy who just told me straight up, hey man, you got A, B, and C rated comics. You're on the chilling circuit. So you got to remember, you are chilling circuit to C rated. You got to figure out what you're going to do. But that's another story. The one thing that I can remember when I bombed, man, I was going through a divorce, and I had just left to come out of town. I was ready to go because I just needed to get away. Got out there on stage, man. BT's Comic View, Def Jam Tour, Michael Prince coming to the stage. I walk out on stage and didn't say nothing. Swear to God in my window.
You just looked around.
That's Tony Schofield. Snatched the microphone. Hey, he gonna be right back. I walk backstage. Boo-hooing, crying, everything, bro. I could not say, I can remember my comedy.
Put it together, huh?
Bro, I could not do nothing for like a year after that divorce, bro.
Wow.
I swear, man, it took everything out of me. And the big thing about the blessing in that, man, was God is so forgiving, man, because I know what I had been through. Yeah. And I know what I had put myself into.
Amen.
And I know where I was going wrong. And I tried, bro, when I forgave myself, I went back to my ex-wife and asked her to forgive me. My life started getting better.
Right.
And that's when I started back doing comedy.
Right.
And it took me a year to get to that point, man. But I promise you. And I remember going down to Twice as Funny. What they host's name? What's his name?
Where?
That's his name. All right, so he bombed real bad.
Talking about him.
Look, that's his name.
Talking about him.
But I bombed worse than he did. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that.
What are you talking about? The whole time.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, Dick. Probably we gonna get to you. I'm gonna tell you something. When I forgot where I was, and I asked Renee Silman,
okay,
my sis Renee.
Okay.
I said, Michael Prince. I said, is that the comedian Michael Prince? She was like, yeah, that's bro. And I was like, no. I got up there like, hey, Sonya, I was like, I'm about to go show up. Yeah, I put on a good outfit to go get that barbecue, everything. I went around 3:34, which was messed up. 3:34. Bruh. I get up there. Your wife was looking at me like this. And I was like, hey, what's going on? I want this Michael Prince here. No, he gone. Well, can I get some of this? We sold out of that. Like, everything sold out. Everything. I was like, can you tell her Shay G was here? Right?
You tell her that.
Messed up my whole debut.
She out of that too.
Yeah. Messed up my whole debut. And I don't even think she told him, like, because it was so at the end of the day.
She's like, Shay dropped by. I said, we were so like, she was like, yeah, he sure didn't look good.
So, Piper, tell us about your time.
You know what, to be honest, I can't remember. I don't think I ever truly bombed as a seasoned comic. Now, I can say some nights didn't go as well as they should have, or
right.
the energy or whatever. But as far as bombing, nah.
Yeah, because you know how to maneuver.
Absolutely,
now.
Because you got to know your crowd. That's one thing.
That's the
I
first
tell
thing
young
you do,
comics,
man.
know
You gotta
your
know
crowd,
what you do.
survey your, work. Know
Read
the
the
room.
room. Read
Read
the
your
room.
room and know what you got. Because certain jokes work in certain places.
Yeah.
So this joke might not work in Kansas City, like it might work in Dallas or
Right.
Houston or whatever. So you got to pretty much know. But I know when, see, if I'm your true friend in the comedy game,
Right.
and you come to me, you say, "How did I do?"
Wait,
You gotta be ready for it. You gotta be ready. If you're a true friend, you gotta be
Now,
ready.
if I tell you, man, you did your thing, if I say that, then I'm not being truly honest to
Bruh.
you. I'm doing you a disservice because I'm not telling you the truth.
That's true.
So I'm not going to tell you, man, you did all right. Because if I don't tell you to correct anything,
Yep.
you're going to keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
If I don't tell you what you're doing, you're going to keep doing. But I have been told a few times, tell a guy, ask me some advice, hey man, what I need to do to get better? Quit.
Well,
right.
Don't you
what I
tell
did
me.
wrong?
Let me tell y'all. Look,
you showed up.
cameraman, look at me, cameraman. Well, I say this is the most pettiest dude.
Bruh.
Let me tell you, hey Mike.
Piper, shit.
Mike,
Piper will tell you the God heaven truth. He tell you the real, the baby Jesus truth.
You know what he told me?
Mike,
He said, "What did I do wrong?"
Right.
You showed up.
Yeah, that's it.
Piper told this dude. He didn't tell him. Piper told the audience. He was trying to sell his shirt. Piper said, yeah, y'all help him out. He came with 10 shirts. Bob was so bad, he got 30 more shirts than people brought him.
He came with 10 shirts and took 20 back. How you do that?
How you do that?
I said, you did so bad. Somebody from another show said, man, I can't with it.
Bruh. And look, and this is the thing though, bruh. He ain't lying either.
No, I
know.
Even with me, I was like,
I seen it with my own eyes.
bruh, he did it with me. I was like, dog. How was this show? He said, man, when you start talking to people now, you don't do that shit.
Bro, you ain't
That ain't your show. Stop doing that shit. And he was so serious. And when he grabbed your arm, he's serious. Right? Hey, stop talking to them damn people. Do your damn show. You don't talk to people. Do your show.
Right, I got too much to talk about. How you doing and how many kids
Hilarious,
you got.
bro.
You ain't got time to
that
talk.
boy
You got
is
material.
crazy.
You got to go out
And
there.
that's the one thing about Piper, man. He gonna be straight up in
Straight up.
bro.
So what advice would you give someone in this comedy game? Because it's different. You know what I mean?
Now, it's way
Before we even do that, how do y'all feel about the state where comedy is now, especially now that everybody's coming for everybody?
Okay, you go first. I'll go first.
You can go ahead. I'll
Okay.
pick it back off.
Here's how I feel. I come from the old school of comedy where comics help comics. Whether that's with bookings, I ain't gonna give y'all my bookings, but I'm gonna put you in touch with some people. These comics these days, it's not about a true comic. It's not about a comic who's got out there and worked their way up. This is about somebody who has got on online and worked their way into likes and worked their way into, the money from the internet, which is good. But when you really get into a true show and you get out there on the stage, you could tell a seasoned comic that has come up in the old school compared to a social media comic. They're totally different comics.
Right.
And you got to listen to a longer story with the social media comic than you would with because a real comic, we have punchline. Bump, bump, bump,
Right.
bump, bump. And one of the biggest advice I give people, a cuss word should never be your punchline. When it is, and then they ain't feeling your cussing, you're going to bomb every time.
That's right.
And that's the thing that people don't understand. When you go see these comics that are out there on social media, they doing these skits that they've written and broken up and chopped up and made funny online, and you go see a real, true comic who has come up in the game, totally different.
Yeah, like day and night.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm gonna tell you this though, and then we get with you, Piper. I've seen, and I gave them all the credit, like literally, like I've seen a social media comment. Like the first time I saw Jess Hilarious,
Yes.
man, she was horrible, but she knew it.
Yeah.
So then I saw her at the Improv. I gave her a standing ovation.
And she worked a comedy.
Oh,
Right.
my
She went and
God.
worked a comedy.
People-
It wasn't online no more.
Just Hilarious,
Yes.
is worth the money to go see.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Just funny,
cause,
man.
and that's
Just
I
funny.
just use that as an example.
Just funny.
We was at the House of Comedy in Minnesota. It was like 2017, 18, 17, and I saw her. I was like,
I know.
But that was at the beginning. That was when she was with the old boyfriend or whatever. But now,
Yeah.
I went and saw her. I was like standing ovation.
Yeah, bro.
That I mean, I seen it and how she worked the joke.
Props to
and
man.
did it.
Right,
And
set
then
it up.
did the callback. I said, ew.
That girl crazy, man.
But you can see that she been writing.
Yeah.
Been working,
Yeah.
Writing
and it
and
comes in
working,
time.
man.
Or even getting writers.
Absolutely.
They've been investing in themselves.
Yes, I think that's a great thing to
yep.
have a team.
Yep.
Because if you get writers, there's nothing wrong with that. But you still have to go out there and deliver the material. You still have to go and tell a joke. So what I would tell, comedians, younger comedians, if you coming from the internet or you just starting, it comes in time. Because they can come to a show and see a Shed G, see a Michael Prince, and we make it look easy. Or they looking at us and like, wow, I can do that. You can, but you don't know how long he been practicing that. You don't know how long he been on the road. You don't know how long he been in the game. You know how he came up with that material. We make it look so easy to where everybody think they can do it.
Yep.
From skits to rappers to whoever want to come into to this line of work. I feel like you shouldn't disrespect the craft and just come here and just think it's so easy. It is not easy.
It's not.
So my advice would be practice, practice, and practice.
There you go.
It's gonna come in time. You're not gonna get out there and kill every night. If you want to be, this great comedian, it's gonna take some work. Bernie Mac was in the game 15 years before he even got on Def Jam.
There you go, bro.
So people don't know the journey. You don't know what people go through. So don't let this internet and this social media, and I commend them guys because that's a lot of work coming up with skits and the material and
you
the
got to cut all that
content,
stuff up,
and you got to keep going because people ain't watching TV no more.
Yeah,
They
they watch
watching their
social
phone.
media. That's it. That's
Your
it,
phone's
bro.
with you
That's
all
it.
the time. So
And
that's how they're getting the followers and the likes and stuff. So I say maximize the opportunity. But if you want to cross over and transition from behind the camera, behind your phone to the stage, my advice is you're going to have to work at it.
I can remember, man, when we did the first year. I remember doing Comic View with Cat. I remember doing this the second and third year. I remember doing it with Kevin because it was me, Kevin, and Queen in the same trailer. And I can remember doing comedy with these guys on Comic View, and you see their trials, their tribulation. You see their track record that they're going through, and they're grinding through this, and you can see it, and you learn from that, and you wonder like some of the comics that you really don't see on television. There's some comics out there that literally deserve, and I'm not saying I don't deserve one, but there's comics out there that literally deserve a special
the right way. That's right.
on Netflix right now. Scruncho, people don't even know who he is, man.
Scruncho, one of my favorites.
Steve Brown. I'm just naming a few.
Marvin Dixon.
Kenny Howe needs a special.
Rodman.
Rodman, he made his thing on TV. He done his thing. But I'm just saying, people that you don't really get to know and get to see. I'm talking about people who are literally killers.
Tony
Roberts is a killer.
And those are the
And it
people
got-
that
it's
is
funny,
off
man.
the chain.
Yeah.
Tony Roberts. Hell, Grossman.
Grossman,
yeah,
Grossman needs them.
Grossman,
Yes.
he gonna
Yes.
be on Tubi or something.
Something.
Bruh,
'Cause
it's coming. It's coming.
He gonna do something.
And it's about being in the right place at the right time to know the right person.
Right.
It ain't people. It's just one person that you need to know. And I don't know who it is. I can't tell y'all that. But what I'm saying is there's comics out there. And that's what made me not going back. That's what made me see comedy. I had to put comedy on a piece of paper and say, okay, look, here's the best comic out here in the United States that's black. My color look like me. Here's the best white comic. How many of these comics out here? Now, there's another 1,000 comics below them. They ain't taking but 2 out of these 1,000 to make them somebody.
And all of them are good.
And all of them
like
good.
a draft.
Yeah.
Like the,
And you really don't realize how white comics are way different than black comics. White comics will take $25 show, $35 show. That's the way they do things. Black comics are not like that because white people and black people, and white people come to comedy shows to laugh.
Yeah.
Black folks come to comedy shows to make them laugh. That's the difference in comedy.
Right.
You have to
And if you got a black and a white room, I'm gonna stay on the white side. Hey, how y'all doing? Go back to the black. Hey, y'all right? I'm gonna go back to the black side.
Let me tell y'all this. You know what I don't like?
Yeah.
And I'm there's 2 things I don't like. And then we'll wrap it up and we'll let people know the fault. 2 things I don't like. I don't like when a comic is on the show and they're just hosting or whatever. And we sold out. No, you didn't sell out.
we.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't sell out. The headliner sold it out, not you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then the other thing I don't like, where I mean it's cool, but understand what it is. When you get the new, they first time headlining.
Oh, Lord.
Right, or
We didn't know the definition of a headliner, really.
because the comedian. No. Well, what
you
I'm
just
saying
going
is when somebody like the comedy clubs, but here I'm gonna give you this to fill in the date.
Yep,
This gonna
yep.
be your
It's a
headline.
Wednesday or Thursday.
And then that's their first time, and they pack
Yep.
it out, which is great.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
All
But then,
day.
well, you can't tell them nothing after
No,
that.
bro.
Like,
You know what I
so
mean?
they get
I'm gonna
managers now,
I'm
they
gonna
get-
tell you. I'm gonna tell you who I loved, and she packed it out, and she did it the correct way.
Okay.
Was Vanity.
Okay.
Yeah, she
I
just
know,
did
actually-
it. Yeah.
Vanity good.
Vanity's
Yeah.
good. She did it. She from New Orleans, whatever. She went out there to improv, packed it out, did her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, still remained
The same.
the
I had on
same.
my
Same
show.
people,
Shout out to Vanity.
Yeah.
I think I put
still
her on
remain
the
the
first or
same.
second show. I think.
Look,
She
but
done.
you get some people do it, and you be like, wait, then they, you know what I'm saying?
Hell have 'em.
They all
They
out
done made
there.
it. They got
They don't
managers,
made
tour
it. They
dates.
call it Piper's manager now.
Right.
Bruh.
Shout out to all the managers.
Bruh, look.
It's like,
Piper
man,
got
you
the
got-
best manager out the world.
Right.
Not in the world, out the world.
This game will humble you
Yes.
like a mug.
Yes,
it
yes,
don't
it
matter
will.
what
Yeah.
it is,
Yes.
but it would definitely humble
Yeah,
you.
man. That's
So,
great.
man, I appreciate y'all coming
Man,
by, man. Let
thank
them know
you,
where they
bro.
can follow you.
What we doing
and
the
just do-
social? What happened to
The social. Oh, yeah,
special?
man. We just be talking. Well,
Okay, we say the
let's do something right quick.
Yeah, man.
So,
I ain't ready to go, man. The couch got
I
comfortable.
think now it's comfortable,
Where we going?
but we gotta go.
I done sit
So,
back too.
do me a favor.
Leg that got
Yeah.
going numb. Yes.
It's still recording? Okay. Now, do me a favor. Go ahead. Let them know where they can follow you and where they can go.
My
Piper
name.
ready.
Go ahead. You ready, Piper?
You have to follow me at Piper the Comedian on all social media platforms, and and I'm looking for a new manager. So that's another thing, man. If you doing comedy for 2 hours, you don't need no damn manager.
You need no manager, bro.
No, man, what are you gonna manage?
What you giving away money for?
A
me tell
manager manages.
Especially
ain't
not
got
when
nothing
you
to manage.
local.
Huh?
When you want a
Right.
manager and you local,
Look.
what type of stuff?
Talking about you
Hold on, I
blowing
want
up.
to cut you
talking
off.
about you
I
blowing
had
up.
but I ain't gonna say the comedian name, but this guy did a show for me one time. I booked him because I like booking shows like you do, Shay G. We book shows and do shows. Mike, all of us have,
Yes.
but do
Right,
shows.
right.
And we
Yes.
like booking shows just like performing. But anyway, this one particular guy, man, bless his heart. He did one show for me.
Right.
Funny guy,
Right,
Just one.
just one. So I wanted to book him again.
right.
He didn't answer the phone. He shot me a text. Everything goes to my manager. I said, you just started. I said, you just started
Tuesday.
yesterday. How you got to manage that quick?
You just started
It was
Tuesday.
serious. Prices have gone up. Yesterday's prices on today's prices.
No.
But anyway, I just want to shout out, man. Like you say, if you're local, you don't need a manager because you need something to manage.
Hey, man. Look, my name is Michael Prince. You can reach me on all social medias through everything Michael Prince. We're going to talk about the barbecue, but on another show. That's
Yeah, give me a shout out to you, Barbara.
Hey, man, barbecue, Two Bones Barbecue, TUBONES BBQ.
2 bones.
Best barbecue in the country. I didn't say Texas. I said the country.
There you go.
But yeah, man, and a big I always try to pay homage to one of my favorite comedians who's no longer with us, man, Denzel Snipes, man. Rest in peace, brother. I will say this and say this again. One of the funniest, craziest brothers that was doing in the game, doing his thing, bro.
And another one.
Come on, man. Tyler Craig.
Tyler Craig.
Tyler
brother.
Craig, man. I miss that
Bro,
dude,
for
man.
real. Another funny.
Hey, man.
That
funny.
brother, that was so funny.
Bro, like I
Oh,
said,
my God.
it's a lot of people out there,
Denzel
man.
Snipes said,
Man.
Denzel was bombing so bad one night.
Oh, everybody else
He
joking.
said, Then he said, whoo, I got to go to my panic material. Then he said, where are my ladies out there with diabetes? Hey, sugar.
We gonna end it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Michael Prince and Piper the Comedian,
I let
everybody.
y'all, man, bro. Show, bro.